You are listed as a last-minute addition. Yeah, you're a special, awesome guest.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is a nice one for you. And so I'm going to hand it over to one of our product managers for analytics and take it away.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me all right? Just checking. Are our policy friends still in the room? There you are. Great. Thanks for that session. Happy to follow it up with analytics. What has been the best session so far out of these 2 days? Just open question at the start. Scripts. Great. Yeah, it's difficult to top that one. Okay. I'll try anyway. So I'm a product manager for Google Analytics, specifically for how Google Analytics integrates with AdWords. So that explains my presence right here. Otherwise, it would be a little strange for an analytics PM to come to the AdWords Community Center. How many of you actually use Google Analytics frequently? That's what we have. If the live stream can see that, every hand went up, right? So just to have that clear. Just a little bit of brief background. I worked with many Google largest advertisers over the past 6 years. That's been my particular area of specialty. I have a background at McKinsey & Company, originally from the Netherlands. And please, if you feel the need to get in touch after this, please do reach out. My email address is right there. We can never have enough feedback. So thanks in advance for that. The first thing I wanted to get out of the way is, and if you didn't catch that, let's just do the entire presentation with this slide up, so at least you capture the email address. Right? The first thing I wanted to get out of the way is why are GA and AdWords better together? Because they are. And there's 5 core reasons. First of all, GA has post-click data. AdWords is fantastic in very many areas, and AdWords knows exactly what happens up until the point where somebody clicks an ad. AdWords has very little clue what happens after that ad click. And that's actually where GA shines. So GA has post-click data. Secondly, GA has superior user-centric data. There's a longer cookie span, there's universal analytics, where you can actually tie a unique user ID to a particular person. So user-centric, GA is also superior to AdWords on that front. Thirdly, logically, GA has cross-channel data. AdWords only sees AdWords advertising. GA sees everything that happens online. Organic search, display, direct traffic, email traffic coming in. GA sees across all those different channels, not just the AdWords channels. Fourthly, GA has very granular conversion data in 2 ways. GA has a very rich set of e-commerce tools. It's a fantastic e-commerce suite. And GA also gives you the opportunity to define many different goals. How long did the person spend on my website? Which pages did they hit, etc. So that granularity of conversion metrics is fantastic in GA and can really augment AdWords. And finally, GA is arguably the world's most powerful segmentation engine. And you can literally segment anything you want and actually use that in AdWords, for example, through GA remarketing. And we'll touch on that later on. It's fantastically powerful. Obviously, I'm a very biased speaker, so if I use the words fantastic and brilliant, you have to discount them a bit. The 3 things I wanted to touch on is, first of all, AdWords reporting in GA. We've spent a lot of time and energy to build really good AdWords reporting in GA, and we're improving all the time. In fact, we launched something yesterday that I'm excited to show you. Secondly, I wanted to go in how you use GA data in AdWords. There's 3 exciting ways to do that. And finally, I wanted to explain a little about how we've improved the linking process. Linking your GA and your AdWords account used to be a pretty humorous 26-step process at some point a couple of years ago. We think we came a long way in improving that to like a 2 or 3-step process. And again, that's not new. I'm not launching that today. That's been out for a couple of months. But I just wanted to get your feedback and show you how we've done that. So first of all, starting on the AdWords side. If you look at Google Analytics, you'll find a separate section called AdWords. And that section holds a lot of very relevant reports. So you can see them on the left-hand side. It's about bid adjustments, display, the keywords. You can see your search queries, etc. The beauty about GA is GA has what we call ABC metrics: acquisition, behavior, and conversion. How did people get to my website? What did they do on my website? And what was the result of their visit? And those ABC metrics are core to how GA reports on your incoming traffic on your website. Again, reflect on the fact that AdWords only captures the acquisition part of this equation, not the behavior part, and only partially the conversions part, because GA has better conversion data. I'm not here to talk down the AdWords side. I think it's a fantastic product. I love every bit of AdWords. I'm just explaining to you how GA can add incremental value on top of what AdWords already gives you. So I think this is pretty important. On the acquisition side, for example, you can see things like percent new sessions. Which percentage of all my sessions on my website were from new users who were not there before? And that's a fantastic metric. That's not available natively in AdWords. And again, you can look down the list and see all the metrics there. Recently, we launched a couple of very exciting things. One is on the back end, AdWords ID join. I won't bother you with the technical details. We've actually made it very easy to see superior, fresh, accurate AdWords data in GA. Yeah, we don't need to bother you with that, but it was a massive effort. It allows a lot of different things. For instance, the 3 reports you see mentioned here. In the past 6 months, we launched a display targeting report. For each of the 6 targeting types that you have on display, you can now see separate data in GA. We launched a bid adjustments report. You can see all your bid adjustments in analytics. And we launched a video campaigns report, actually showing you how your AdWords video campaigns are doing. And again, all these reports have those great acquisition behavior conversion metrics. So you can really see incremental value in those particular reports. And I think the industry is picking up on that. I hope nobody's in the room who actually wrote these articles, but you can read through these headlines and see how you and your colleagues and the press are picking up on the fact that using analytics to improve your AdWords results makes a ton of sense because of those incremental capabilities that I just displayed. Please go check them out if you haven't already. If you search for these types, you should definitely find these particular industry articles. Yesterday, we added another report to this already fantastic thing. We launched tree maps, and I see some people nodding in the audience. My background is at McKinsey, and McKinsey is all about hypothesis-generated thinking. Many people say, I want to take immediate action on my data. I don't necessarily believe that's true, because between raw data and taking action on data is a critical step, which is hypothesis generation. Based on my raw data, what do I think is happening to my accounts? And then how do I take action on it? And this tree map report is an example of how we're trying to provide a visualization that will easily help you define those new kinds of hypotheses. What this does is you pick 2 metrics. You pick a primary metric and a secondary one. And I've listed all the metrics you can pick on this too. The primary metric becomes the surface area, and the secondary metric becomes the green to red overlay. For those of you familiar with tree maps, they're used very often in finance, where they're typically used to show which stocks are up and down and what's the trading volume per stock. It's a wonderful visualization that gives you the combination of volume and relative in one single visualization. For example, you can immediately see here, what we've done here is we've plotted cost against e-commerce conversion rate. You can see what's happening in those 2 green campaigns that's actually going very well. Let's dive into those. Let's see what's happening there. And you can see how much easier it is visually to find this pattern than it would be in a sea full of data or just in a raw table with raw numbers. So we're pretty excited about this, and we'd love your feedback on how you use this, what you find valuable. Also notice on this list, again, the power of looking at your AdWords data in GA. You have all the regular AdWords metrics here, like cost and clicks and impressions, etc. But you also have the GA metrics, transactions, goal value, new users, and on the right-hand side, average order value, percent new sessions, bounce rates, right? Quite interesting, pages per session, etc. The reason I put 2 metrics in red here is we want to be advertiser-centric. We want to be centric to what is important to you. If you're looking at bounce rate, higher bounce rate is probably bad. Right? If you're looking at CPC, higher CPCs are bad. So for those 2 metrics, we reverse the color scale. We actually try to put us in the advertiser's shoes to make sure you see the most relevant metrics. Awesome. So that's an example of something we just launched. Let me give you 2 other examples of features I'm particularly excited about. The first one is brand generic auto-labeling. What we've done, we've actually used our algorithms to generate brand terms for every single website that uses GA. So in the back end, we've crunched all the numbers, and we've developed a particular system that allows us to help you identify what are actually my brand terms. If you go into GA right now, and you go to the brand generic paid search page, you can actually see the terms we recommend for you. They'll be in the bottom box. You can say, yes, these are my brand terms, or you can add or remove a couple of brand terms. The moment you say, yes, these are my brand terms, in GA we will split your paid search reporting in brand paid search and generic paid search. The reason that's important is, as you probably know better than I do, brand paid search and generic paid search perform very, very differently. Brand paid search typically has low CPCs, high CTRs, etc. Generic terms typically have high CPCs, lower CTRs, are more important earlier in the funnel, and all these differences. So segmenting brand paid search and generic paid search, we think, is the best practice. And we've actually built this particular functionality in GA to help you segment those two kinds of paid search traffic automatically. And I would urge everyone to look into that. One particularly strong advocate of this is George Mitchie from the Rim Kaufman Group. He's written a lot of articles about how not analyzing brand and paid search separately is the cardinal sin of paid search. His quote, not mine. So it's that important to look at your brand paid search and generic paid search separately. I know many of you do that by your AdWords account structure, actually setting up different campaigns, etc. This allows you to do it in GA across no matter how many accounts, across no matter how many campaigns. So we think it's pretty valuable functionality, and we've seen tremendous adoption of it. Secondly, this is actually what it looks like when you have generic paid search and brand paid search separately. Secondly, 2 weeks ago, we launched GA benchmarking. Who has seen that? Great, a lot of people to convince of the value of that. GA benchmarking is actually fantastic. So GA is installed on millions and millions of different websites. What we've allowed you to do in GA is pick 3 things. Pick your industry vertical, pick your geo, and pick the size of your website defined in number of visits per day. Once you do that, GA is so ubiquitous that we're able to generate meaningful benchmarks in the cell that is the result of those 3 inputs, benchmarking your metrics against your competitors. And we're very careful not to expose anything you would not want to be exposed about your own data. And we do it all anonymized, and we ensure there's a sufficient sample. But based on this, you can start seeing fantastic data. You can see the heat map in the background. For instance, you can see your different channels. How are my different acquisition channels performing compared to my competitors? The case study we put out when we launched this is with Twitty, the vacation rental company. And they actually saw that through email, they got 90% less visits than their peers, as shown by the GA benchmarking report. They invested in their email channel, and they drove over 500% growth in their email channel. So for the first time, you can really see how you are performing compared to your peer set. And for example, for this group in particular, you can specifically look at paid search and say, how many visitors am I getting from paid search, and how does that compare to my peer group? And notice that you see all the metrics here, not just the percentage of sessions, but also pages per session, session duration, bounce rate. You can start to benchmark your bounce rate, not against some random arbitrary group of others, no, against a group of people that shares your vertical, your geo, and is a similar size of you. I think it's a fantastic tool for finding where you are strong, where you are weak, trying to address your weaknesses. And I'm a little surprised it hasn't gotten more press than it should. So I think the fact that I'm spending 3 minutes on this now might help a little, if you would help as well. I think many people could benefit from this, and we're very excited by this feature. So that's AdWords reporting in GA. The other way around is at least as interesting. How do you use GA data effectively in AdWords? There are 3 main ways to do that. Once you link your AdWords account to your GA account, and you can link multiple to multiple, you can actually start seeing your GA site stats in AdWords. And there's 4 stats in particular: bounce rate, pages per visit, average visit duration, and percent new visits. So once you import those site stats, it's really, really easy once you've linked your accounts. You can see those right in the campaigns tab in AdWords. And I know many of you already have enabled this. If you haven't done that yet, the power of seeing your bounce rate in your actual AdWords campaigns is pretty powerful. Even looking at this random screenshot, right? Why is the percentage of new visits on that particular campaign higher than on that particular campaign? Why is bounce rate varying between 86% and 53%? What's going on there? All those things are very relevant to ask. And I would encourage everyone to take advantage of that functionality and import your GA stats into AdWords. Secondly, many advertisers import their conversions straight from GA into AdWords. You can import 2 kinds of conversions. There's goals, which are defined by you yourself, and there's e-commerce transactions, which are by definition an actual e-commerce transaction. And you can actually see the button here in AdWords saying import from Google Analytics. And many people do that, and they definitely see the value of this, getting those conversion data from GA into AdWords. Again, the e-commerce suite in GA is incredibly powerful. We just launched enhanced e-commerce earlier this year. It's a enhanced campaigns, no worries, we're not doing that again. It's enhanced e-commerce, and it's really powerful. Please check out the blog post, the analytics blog. I should have 90 minutes rather than 30. This is okay. Yeah, I agree. An additional reason to use imported GA goals, and not every one of you may know this, recently we launched conversion for optimization in AdWords. What that means is previously, all your conversions in AdWords, if you use automated bidding, were automatically entered in the automated bidding algorithm for optimization. Now, you can have as many conversions in AdWords as you like, but you can say, I only want to optimize to these 3 particular conversion types and not these other 9. And that allows you to much easier report all those GA goals and all those GA transactions, because you can now choose which transactions or goals you actually want to optimize to, and still measure the other ones, but not optimize them. It's a bit of a technical feature, but it's tremendously powerful to increase your insight into what's going on. For instance, you may have micro conversions set up in your GA account as goals, right? People who spend more than 2 minutes on my site. You may have been hesitant to import those into AdWords previously, because then we start optimizing to it. But now you can. And you can simply choose not to optimize to it. You can still see them in AdWords and use them to infer meaningful actions you can take from them. And the final thing, probably the most exciting one, GA remarketing lists in AdWords. The ability to build remarketing lists in GA is actually fantastically powerful. You can use any of the over 300 dimensions and metrics in GA to define your remarketing list. And what I've seen in working with many larger advertisers, I've seen advertisers define hundreds or even thousands of very granular remarketing lists. Users from California who spend between $100 and $200. Users from California who spend between $200 and $500. There's no limit to how granular you can go using any of those 200 and 300 dimensions and metrics in GA. And this is probably the least instructive graphic I've ever shown in the presentation. What it's meant to show is we take all those factors into account, and you can actually also use it. There's a little usefulness to this particular graphic because many advertisers have told us it's fantastic that I can build a remarketing list in GA, but I'm simply overwhelmed by those 200 dimensions and metrics. What do I do? So here's an example of some of the dimensions and metrics available. If you find that overwhelming, we've launched what I think is a fantastic feature called Smart Lists. What it does is you basically tell Google, manage my list for me. What we do is we look at all those dimensions and metrics for you, and we give you back a list of your best non-converting users, in essence. And that's a very powerful feature. You no longer need to find out what particular metrics and dimensions are most important in defining my best users. We're actually doing it for you and giving you back a list of your best non-converting users. And that kind of automation, I think, is also, to go a little bit broader, I think that's a glimpse of the future of advertising, including what we like to do. On the one hand, we'd like to automate as many things as possible if you choose to go down that route. On the other hand, I think also at AdWords, we want to make new features available for power users who want full control. And I think you see that divergence, if you will, even though both are very complementary, increasingly prevalent in AdWords. You see the same in bidding. You can do automated bidding, but you can also actually do your own bidding. You see it in attribution in analytics, for example. You can use data-driven attribution in GA Premium, or you can define your own attribution model, right? The future very much will be, we're offering all these automated solutions which should make your life easier and often leverage metrics you may not be able to get at very easily yourself, but on the other hand, give you every single metric you might want if you want to do everything manually. And finally, improve GA AdWords linking. It may not be the most exciting thing to talk about, but it's so incredibly important. So we've seen tremendous upsurge in linking from the improvements we've made here. Again, this used to be a very humorous process previously. We're very glad we cleaned it up. This is an example of bulk linking, where you can actually go into analytics. You can actually go to the admin section. It will have AdWords linking right there. And what you can do is simply select all the AdWords accounts you want linked, you press continue, and you're done. Couldn't be easier. So if you have any feedback on that as well, we're very open to all of that. It is particularly awesome. I'm glad I finally found an audience who gets excited about GA AdWords linking. That's very exciting.
We've been waiting for this for years.
Thank you so much. I cannot take full credit for this. It goes to my colleagues. I will pass it on. The final thing I wanted to do with you, I wanted to use this unique group as kind of a feedback mechanism. And this is serious, right? We are contemplating building a new report, a new AdWords report analytics. And it's premised on the following. As you know better than I do, the key best practice in search is if you have a creative red shoes, that should match a keyword red shoes. There should be a creative that says, buy red shoes now, and there should be a landing page that says, these are the best red shoes you can buy, right? Yeah. That's the best practice. Would it be valuable if we built a report in analytics that would show you the unique combination of query, keyword, creative, landing page on a single line? So for every unique combination, you would see number of sessions, conversion rates, bounce rate, etc. For every unique combination of those four things, which in theory will allow you to optimize based on that best practice. Would that be useful?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
This is why I love my job. I get to use this audience and I get to go back to my job and say, they really want it, we need this now. And then I get to go back to you and say, we got it. So that's it. Thank you very much for hearing me out. I truly believe that GA and AdWords are better together. You can link your AdWords data in GA, you can use your GA data in AdWords, you can link them easily, and you'll even get a few new reports as well. So thank you very much for your attention.
Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you very much. I've been actually thinking about building some sort of overlay to show search term, creative, and the landing page. So if you can do it like the in-page analytics, so we can look at the page while we are looking at the search term and everything. Maybe it is more descriptive than a URL.
As an overlay.
As an overlay, yeah.
Okay, that's good feedback. I have to talk to the engineering team. Okay.
Thanks for very exciting piece here. I do wish you had 90 minutes. The question I had was, given your experience and the visibility you've had outside of doing the smart lists, are there any particular best practice segmentations that you kind of feel are somewhat standard? Realizing you can't be cookie cutter, but are there a few key ones you could share with us?
Absolutely. I don't think I can share them right now because I don't have them top of mind, but there's two ways to get at them. First of all, I think within GA we are already offering, I think we call it starter packs, where we can actually say, these are some predefined remarketing lists we urge you to use. The second thing is we have something in GA called the solutions gallery. Because GA has a feature where you can send a particular report you're looking at. You can take the link, send it to somebody else, and they will see that same report but with their own data. So you're not sending data, you're sending the report configuration. And that's fantastically powerful. And 2 years ago, we realized, wait a minute, we can build a solutions gallery with that, where people share their best views, etc. And the top thing in that solutions gallery now is remarketing lists, which people are sharing. So given a particular goal, whether it's e-commerce or optimizing AdWords, etc., people are sharing lots of things, including the best remarketing lists they've built. And that's actually a segmentation. You can press that solutions gallery. It will import that segmentation in GA on your own data. You press save as remarketing list and you're done. It's called the solutions gallery. It's pretty exciting.
Hey, how's it going? Kudos on the benchmarking reports. They were just absolutely astonishing. First time I saw them, and I agree it wasn't that much fanfare, which quite surprised me considering how valuable they are. Obviously, as a marketer, I'm kind of greedy for more data, so I think you know what I'm going to ask. Is there plans on any other metrics or even dimensions to widen that out to the C and the ABC? I know we won't get conversion data, but beyond just the bounce rates and standard channel acquisition data, is there any plans to expand that?
The session stays, right? Because I need this for my own internal argumentation. It's live streamed as well. Okay. Yes, there are plans. Yes, there are ongoing discussions. Yes, I'm fighting the good fight on your behalf on exactly that topic. Let me give you a little background. AdWords conversions are advertiser defined, all of them. Very difficult to benchmark those because between two finance companies, one finance company can have a quote as a conversion, the other one can have a visit longer than 2 minutes, right? So we can benchmark those. GA has two kinds of conversions. Goals, which are advertiser defined, much as conversions in AdWords. But there are also e-commerce transactions, which are always e-commerce transactions. There's still a little question around whether one e-commerce transaction is equal to the other, but pretty much they are. So the infrastructure exists to do that. There's a couple of things we need to keep in mind. First of all, we need to have sufficient data, and not everyone uses e-commerce tracking. Everyone has bounce rate, so it's easier to benchmark bounce rate. If we start looking at e-commerce transactions, is the granularity a problem in terms of generating sufficient benchmarks for everyone, or are we going to have to show dashes for many people because we don't want to expose data traceable to a single advertiser. You want to be very careful with your data. Also, by the way, GA data is legally owned by the advertiser, right? It's very well protected, much more so than AdWords data, to be perfectly honest. So yes, we're looking at that. Yes, there are active discussions going on. Yes, I'm fighting a good fight. No, I can definitively promise you that.
Anyone else have any questions? No? Okay. And we projected your email address, so any further questions can be directed on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.